Many of you have heard us talk about Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth, the supplement that helps women maintain optimal hormone levels, with over 50,000 glowing reviews from women worldwide and 98% saying they recommend it to friends and family. Now you can take those results even further by pairing it with their prebiotic collagen protein, which helps restore gut lining integrity, promoting overall hormone levels. Now, I've struggled with occasional digestive issues, and since taking the prebiotic collagen protein, I've noticed a real lift in my energy and overall well-being. Happy Mammoth is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. Right now, you can try prebiotic collagen protein and Hormone Harmony risk-free and get 15% off your entire first order with the code DATEABLE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off today. What's the one thing about your health you wish someone had told you years ago? Well, for me, it's how important the gut is. Truly, the gut is the foundation of overall health and vitality. It's not just about digestion. The gut affects everything from your energy levels and mood to weight management and even longevity. And while most gut supplements contain probiotics or probiotics and prebiotics at best, Bioma contains all three essential ingredients your gut needs. Visit gobioma.com/dateable today. That includes prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. Each ingredient is science-backed and third-party tested. Just take 2 capsules before breakfast and take the guesswork out of feeling your best. Visit gobioma.com/dateable today for an extra 15% off your order. That's gobioma.com/dateable and get an extra 15% off. Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
Good to see you all in this, I'm in my play pretend
in your brain
universe.
Instead of just seeing each other, we see everyone. Yeah.
I see people all the time in my imagination because as an only child, that's who I played with as a kid. You may not be able to relate, Julie, but I have a lot of friends in my mind. In my universe.
All of our listeners, viewers, everyone out there, you're just imagining. Love it.
I used to deliver talks as a kid to a group of imaginary animals. Like I would be like, monkey today and the lion. Like I would actually talk to them and give them work to do because I always wanted to be a teacher when I was a kid. So I would do like a lecture and a talk. Then my mom would walk in and she's like, who are you talking to? Like my friends. Don't you see them? Just like, nope, weirdo.
I used to do that, but I would have like Beanie Babies or like stuffed animals, like actual people there. But I can't imagine just walking in and just hearing like no one, literally no one around.
Did you make your brother play with you?
Oh yeah. All the
make
time.
Him sit there? Yeah. Okay.
All the
Yeah.
time.
I can see that.
I was like, the option is Barbies or nothing. And he was like, I guess Barbies. I feel so bad. I feel so bad.
Such a bully.
I was not collaborative. I was not like, what do you want to play? Let's do it together. I had older child syndrome.
But maybe that's why he's such a good husband.
So I helped, is what you're saying.
Yes. Your sister-in-law should be very grateful for you.
That actually is a good segue to our topic today. Maybe these are the signs that you need to look out for when you're like picking the partner, right?
Well, the question is, can you future-proof your relationship?
I don't think you could ever predict 100% what will happen in life, but you definitely can at least set yourself up for success by picking a partner who at least has the potential to withstand the time with you.
Yeah, true. When you prioritize long-term compatibility over like instant chemistry or the butterflies, then you don't settle for breadcrumbs of relationships or situationships. You actually know what you're looking for the long term.
I like that this is a trend, though. It's the most positive dating term we have seen in years.
Finally. Finally, a dating trend that we can get behind. No more roaching or ghosting or breadcrumbing or whatever the stupid words that we've come up with. I'm all about future proofing. Let's go. Let's dive into this.
And I've been seeing future proofing like around a lot recently. And there was actually an article that came out that was in Forbes that was the 3 reasons why future proofing is the healthiest dating trend of 2025 by a psychologist. And the author is Mark Travers. So I assume he is the psychologist he is referring to. He is, hopefully, has the credentials, all of that. But it was interesting because like this has been on our list of topics. And then this article literally popped up and it's a sign. It's a sign we talk about it.
Yeah, the sign. And how do we used to go about relationships? When you read about new trend, you always think about what was the old way of doing it. And I think when I look at my earlier dating, I definitely dated for the now, for this person, like the fun that we could have, the chemistry we could have, or the story, the meet cute. Or I would date for the potential, not the future, but the potential of someone based on who they are today. And it was I never looked at long-term compatibility. Could this person be a good partner for me? Could we go through hard times together? Wasn't a question that popped in my head till probably late 30s.
I agree. And future proofing, for anyone that hasn't heard the term yet, a newly packaged dating term that focuses on the values one would typically view as old-fashioned: long-term compatibility, shared values, a shared vision for your life together, shared goals for your future, and most importantly, choosing emotional security over doomed-to-fail situationships. And this plays to like what you were talking about, is that chemistry really just lasts for the first couple dates, and, you know, emotional maturity, consistency, shared values, that's what sustains you.
But it's nothing new, right? It's not like all of a sudden this is not like a new concept, but we are going back to old-fashioned values. I think that's what he calls it in this article, which is like, let's talk about the things that matter in a relationship. Let's talk about, what if their career changes? What if there are some major life changes? How are we going to navigate conflict? How are we going to navigate major challenges in our relationship? Versus like, what kind of music do you like? How do you want, what's the next trip we should take? I think that is all obviously very important, having the fun and the chemistry, yes. But if we're looking for someone for the long term, can we start having some of these more rich conversations early on?
We talk about this a ton in our book, How to Be Dateable. We have a whole section around like we're getting compatibility all wrong. Like we're judging it off of instances of happenstance. Like we both like tennis or we both are from the East Coast, opposed to like what are our core values. And I'm glad that this is making a more widespread trend as well. I'd love to think our book had some input into that as too, because I think it gets to the root of like conscious dating, of like really being conscious and not just falling into stuff and going with like, oh, we had a great first date or we bonded over travel, we can do life together. It's like, okay, let's actually look at what's happening and have those conversations and not just view everything through a date lens of like all fun and games, because the reality is that's not life. Like life is hard and you want someone that can sustain the hard.
Okay, let's expand on that a little bit though, the date lens. I think this is fascinating to see. In this article, they point to this Bumble 2025 dating trends report, and it indicates that 95% of singles claim that their future concerns like finances, job security, housing are shaping their dating behavior and choice of partners. Well, duh. This is of course, like this is not mind-blowing at all. Thanks, Bumble, for telling us the obvious. 95% of people are going to report that's important to them. But the question is, are you actually executing on this? Is this part of the intentionality behind how you're dating? That's a report I like to see. What you think, what you want, and then what are you actually doing on a date?
I agree. I mean, I think that at the end of the day with future proofing, like I said earlier, like you can set yourself up for success by like, knowing what it is that's important, actually staying with that and not just getting like swept away in chemistry or the good on paper or what someone like says but doesn't do. And then there's like the other side of it though, of like, are people actually taking the steps to get out of their own way with the habits that like, pull them into the wrong people.
Yeah. Great example. I know someone who started dating this guy and found out that he lived in this really fancy house. Okay. So she's like swept up with her dating lens. Like, we're going to have so much fun. And he has this beautiful house. And maybe eventually I'll move into this house. When she's looking for a partner that she can have a future with. After a few months of dating, she never questioned how this house is financed, how he got this house, etc. Okay, it's just things you don't think about because you're like, I'm swept up in this story. Turns out he is renting this house with money he does not have, all just to show that he has this lifestyle.
Yeah.
In fact, he is so in debt that he can't even pay for his car. So he doesn't even have a car. It's just stuff like that. I'm not talking about, this is not a money situation. It's just that we get so swept up in the romance of things. We don't ask the questions that matter if you were in a relationship. Like, oh, I would want to know how are you able to finance a house? Or how are you able to afford this lifestyle? I want to understand that. We feel so embarrassed to ask questions like that.
I guess that brings up a good point is like, what criteria are we measuring with future proofing? Because if it's really like this study is saying, right, it's the future concerns around finance. It's a lot of it's financial, right? Finances, job security, housing. I think there's a couple things here. It's like, first of all, to your point, you don't ever really know someone's true financial situation.
No.
Even if they have a great job, it doesn't equate to like their money habits and spending and all that. And you can lose your job tomorrow. So it's a hard thing to like 100% be like, oh, well, I'm with this person that has this job. I'm set. That's not, I don't think that's realistic. The other side of it is I actually was out last night. I went to this wine bar. And I overhear this girl next to me. And I was just like, oh, yeah, this is so cringe. And they were talking about dating. Oh, no. It was like a group of people. And they were talking, like, this girl's like, well, I moved here from New York. And I will only date CEOs now. Like, she had like this whole thing. And I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, but like, is that also like, again, if there's, I'm sure there's great CEOs that can be family oriented and all that. But like, there's also a lot of CEOs that like, their life is their work. And is that going to future proof you to have a great relationship for the long haul? That's really only looking at like one lens of financial security. And that to me is not the whole picture.
That's so not the whole picture. And sadly, I think there are a lot of CEOs who make no money at all and they struggle for years and years. That's just status, right?
Right.
And sometimes we chase status and status gets us nowhere either. That's not going to get you through the hard times of a relationship. And beyond finances, this is something that's more, I guess, personal to me is as I get older, I have to think about my aging parents. And as an only child, these are conversations I need to have with my partner right now. Like, maybe one day one of my parents will have to live with us. Are we okay with that? What does that look like? And I don't want to have that conversation, but it is a necessary conversation.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners.
As the air turns crisp and the holidays draw near, comfort becomes the best gift of all. And Quince delivers layers that last, sweaters, outerwear, and everyday essentials that feel luxurious, look timeless, and make holiday dressing and gifting effortless. And Quince has it all, from $50 Mongolian cashmere sweaters made for everyday wear, denim that never goes out of style, silk tops and skirts that add matte polish, and down outerwear built to take on the season, perfect for gifting or upgrading your own wardrobe. Now, I know I live in warm Southern California, but I do love wearing cashmere, and the Quince short sleeve cashmere sweaters are my go-to. They're just the perfect layering piece, and they truly elevate every outfit. Step into the holiday season with layers made to feel good, look polished, and last. From Quince. Perfect for gifting or keeping for yourself. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DATEABLE.
With the holidays right around the corner, it's time for me to start planning all the festive meals and treats for the season. Frozen Washington red raspberries are the ultimate holiday shortcut to flavor, as they are picked at peak ripeness and frozen within hours to lock in their bright, sweet tart taste. I love raspberries in my desserts, and boy does this cran raspberry pecan tart sound delicious. Grown by passionate farmers in Washington state, they're frozen with care to ensure top quality and food safety, and it always feels good to support local American farmers. And here's the best part. They're always in season. When you buy American-grown frozen raspberries, you're getting fresh off the field flavor all year long. You can find them at Costco, Kroger, Meijer, and Winco Foods. Make sure to look for product in the U.S. on the bag. Check out True Fruit Mars Hyper Chilled Chocolate-Covered Raspberries and Smucker's Raspberry Jam. Want to learn more details on where to find American frozen red raspberries plus recipe ideas and cooking tips? Head to redraz.org. That's REDRAZZ.org. You'll find participating retailers as an inspiration for every meal, plus info on how these berries go from farm to freezer with quality you can taste. Yeah, I mean, this is the part where the future proofing trend is like mixed to me. It's like, again, if we're talking about like stating terms, comparing it to roaching, it's a win. No one's saying it's not a win. But I'm not sure if you could just ask a series of questions when you first start dating someone and expect to know like the whole life trajectory. Because maybe that wasn't even something like the example you just gave. Like that isn't something that was like top of mind when like selecting a partner. It's like, how do you like work through things with people? And yes, there's questions, there's certain situations you can put yourself in, and all for doing all of that to be like, are we a team? Can we get through challenging times? That's great. Then there's also like evaluating based on like surface level metrics. Maybe I get in some way, like I think for people that are concerned about finances and job market, which is a thing right now, I get wanting to choose someone that may not want to just like bum around and never get a job, but also having compassion that like a lot of people are laid off right now. And that doesn't necessarily mean that like that's their forever status. So yes, maybe focusing on like, is this person going to be a good partner to me? Whether like, you know, financially we're not aligned and they pick up other stuff in our partnership, or like financially we are aligned and like they have kind of a skill set that I know will like transcend, or they have like perseverance when times are hard to like get through it, like more of the skills behind the job opposed to just like the resume.
I want to know, do you have a plan and do you have a vision?
Right.
Like you may not be at the top of your career right now, but maybe you are someone who has a plan and you have this vision for what the future could look like. I've dated plenty of people who had absolutely no vision for their life. They're like, you know, the 2-year relationship I was in. He's like, I'm fine being a mid-level manager. I'm fine having a roommate for the rest of my life. I'm fine with my life it is today. And that could be great for someone. But if I were to future-proof the person I want to be with, that's not the person I want to be with, because he's going to be the exact same in the future.
So in this article, Mark Travers, the psychologist he references himself, he said there are 3 things you should look out for: consistency, stability, and alignment. And that is a good way to like future proof and to evaluate. And I agree with a lot of these. I would argue that there's probably 7, but I'm pulling from the only 7 things that matter in our book.
Right. Yeah.
But I do like stability and alignment. Alignment's kind of within those. Stability, we don't necessarily call out 100%, but I think it's interesting that he has these three, and he says that, like, you know, when you're inconsistent, and they, like, when a partner has hot and cold behavior, or they break promises, or extreme personality changes, like that, you know, is something that wreaks havoc later on. And I've definitely seen this before of, like, you know, those partners that are really like alluring in public, and then you find out like in private, they're like totally different people. I think that's that roller coaster of just like 1 week everyone's happy, the next we're not, like that's not going to sustain a relationship. And I like this metric. I mean, we're clearly huge proponents of consistency. It's the number one in our list as well. And I think this is an important part of future proofing, because without consistency, you can't really get through anything else.
Yeah, you really can't. And consistency comes with a commitment to the relationship too.
Yeah.
So this is where I hear people saying like, well, I'm dating someone who is not exactly the same as me. How do I get that alignment? How do I find that stability in our relationship? And I think it comes from two people working to build something new or something that works for them. Like my partner and I have very different spending habits. And I could have easily in the beginning said, okay, we're not aligned on our finances. But we are now at a point where we've built a third entity of how we look at finances. It's not how I used to think of it. It's not how he used to think of it. But at least we were committed to finding this third path. We were consistent in the way that we behaved towards this path, and we're aligned on what this future could look like. But it took a lot of communication and that commitment to get to this third path.
So here's the thing, though, with this future proofing part, is I feel like none of this is really future proofed. Like none of this is like
no.
What works today. And I'm not saying this just on like what you just said as the example, but like every couple is going to have, you know, some way of looking at finances together or some way of operating. And it could work today, but that doesn't mean for sure it's not going to work in 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And that's why I think like future proofing isn't like ever 100%. And that's why I don't know if I love the word future proofing. I like conscious dating better, because it's like what you can control in the moment, where future proofing feels like, oh, well, I'm asking all these questions. I'm making all these plans now.
Yes.
I'm like guaranteed for the future. We'll be good. We'll never get divorced and we'll be together forever. And I just don't know if you can really realistically make that promise to anyone.
You can't, because you're also changing. That, like, the way you view life and the world is changing. You can't even future-proof yourself. I do think where the future-proofing is, how are you having these conversations?
Yes.
And what I do like about the article is he heavily promotes having these conversations early. It's not the answer that matters.
Yeah.
It's like, it's about the other person being open to what you're presenting, and then being collaborative, and let's have a discussion about it. Even if we don't have no idea what the future brings, you need someone who's willing to come along for the ride and to mold these different paths as you come upon these challenges and changes. You also don't want someone, to what you're saying, Julie, who's like, I have this one vision and one vision only, and we can't deter in any other direction. Like, we just have to do this one thing. That's not future proofing either, because that's a very static way of doing it.
That's why I think the 7, because the 7 touches on more, right? But I do think that you're onto something. It's the skill, right, that you're building. That's what's future proofing. I think of this actually like college, right? You actually aren't using 99.9% of the information you learned in college ever.
You really aren't.
Ever. But what it taught you was how to, you know, apply yourself, have a work ethic, to, you know, study, to learn, to be eager, to be curious. Like, it taught you all the skills that will help you in your career and other parts in life. It's not saying like, oh, I'm going to use this calculus equation in my job that has zero to do with calculus. But like, I learned from studying for that calculus exam, how do I like learn something that maybe is unfamiliar to me and apply that? So I agree, the skill is where it really is to future proof.
And if we were to really go deep on this, maybe there are some parallels between college and dating. If I had set my intentions right for college, I think I would have come out a much happier person. I went into college thinking, oh, these are just the steps I need to do in order to get a job and to contribute to society. I just thought it was a way to, that's what people did. I never had that conscious intention of being like, oh, I'm here to learn about myself and critical thinking and to learn relational skills. Same with dating.
Yeah.
I think people sometimes date because they're like, this is what you got to do if you want to get in a relationship. But what if we all stepped back and said, the intention of dating is to learn about myself, to learn about critical thinking, to learn my relational skills, which may lead to a relationship. But that's not actually the point. The point is to future-proof yourself in this experience so that you are able to participate in society and like as a really great person.
Yeah. I do want to call out what Mark talks about in this article around stability, because I think this is interesting. Because I think when I initially saw stability, I think financial stability. And he's actually not saying that. He's saying a stable partner does not equate to the perfect partner who has everything figured out or who has all the answers. Rather, it refers to someone who shows integrity of character and has the emotional resources needed to deal with failure without falling apart. And
that's what we're talking about, right? The skill set.
Right. It's like to navigate life. And I think that's the piece. But that being said, okay, speaking for someone that maybe is going through a little lately, it's like sometimes you do fall apart, and that's like human a little. And like, yes, you could pick yourself back up, but like, is that really like future proofing to like never expect like anything bad to happen? And like, or if it does, like to immediately get up. I don't know if that's like realistic also in like relationship and in life. Like, I think some of it is like, I know eventually this person will like get it together and it won't be like this forever, but like give them a little grace too.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that stability really is your partner there for you? Are they able to support you through life's challenges? And that's part of why we want to be in relationships, right? Because you are stronger as two people. And that's where to me, that's where the stability comes from.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when he was talking about alignment, it was a lot about like having similarities. And the thought was that there's so much friction in all these like small decisions that couples make over a lifetime. So like if you have kind of that alignment, that makes all those decisions so much easier. But I think like I don't know, I agree like there has to be some similarity of like what you're looking for out of life, the direction you want to go, what's important to you, your values. But I'm not sure we always have to have similarity in the way we approach. Sometimes it's actually better to have different approaches and mindsets.
100%. And we've been preaching this for a while. It's not about the similarities. It's about how you navigate your differences. And they've done studies where when you date someone who's too similar to you, you are on autopilot and you stop learning about your partner because you have a default setting that you know everything about them. So I'd much rather date someone who has, it's not about similarities, but can and will navigate these differences with me.
So I guess my final take after going into this more is like, no, you cannot future-proof your relationship. You can consciously date to set yourself up to find someone that you can build these skills with, but it doesn't always even predict like 100%, like will like things change and we won't be able to get through things. In a way, love is taking a leap. You can decide how much of a calculated risk you want to take, though. I think when you go for someone that's like wildly inappropriate or that's not giving you like basic consistency, stability, and alignment from day one, then yes, it's an uphill battle. So I like it in that sense of like, okay, if someone's like telling me I can't commit to a relationship, yeah, get rid of them. But like, we can't think that like asking a series of questions is going to protect us forever either.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think you can future-proof a relationship because you can't control someone else's behavior. You can't control someone else's life. You have no control over what they do.
But you can your own future.
Like you can't control your own future. Yes.
Yeah, like you can future. Yeah. Sorry. We're like both very heated. You go first.
I think you can future-proof yourself in that you can navigate anything in life if you start developing these relational skills and resilience and perseverance, all of these skills that you learn in dating. That's how you future-proof yourself. But you cannot future-proof to an outcome, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I agree. Awesome. What do you think? Do you think you could future-proof a relationship? Are you bought into this term, this trend? Is it just another way to say intentional dating and conscious dating and all the stuff we've been saying? Or are we just ahead of the curve and now everyone else is catching up?
Yeah. Copycats.
I think honestly, though, it's good. If we're ahead of the curve, if you've been listening to Dateable for a while and you're here with us, that means you're ahead of it. But the more widespread, when this stuff goes to trends, that means that the dating pool is only going to get better. So I'm all for that.
Yes. Me too. Let's do it. I don't want any more roaching. I never want to see that word ever again.
Nope. I like that we're making a shift to positive dating terms.
Yes. 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 Progress, people.
Okay. Well,
all right. Cool.
Great.
Thanks for joining the conversation.
Make sure to get How to Be Dateable if you want to continue to date consciously. I won't use future-proof, but future-proof yourself. We'll use that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
See you all next week.
Bye.